Constructicons form Devastator, the most powerful robot. We should rule. Constructicons, merge for the kill!
Hello, Bots and Books fans, this is Scorp1701, and welcome to part 6 of our series featuring the Transformers Studio Series Constructicons. Yes, Hasbro has given us another set of Constructicons, and they are turning out to be awesome. As awesome as Combiner Wars Constructicons? I don't know. That's going to be something that you're going to have to decide for yourself. But it's been a while since we've had the Constructicons, and I am enjoying taking a look at them. And tonight we are going to be taking a look at the last Constructicon. This is the Voyager Class Mixmaster. Yes, we are on the downhill stretch, and all we have to do is start by taking a look at this awesome packaging. As you can see, Mixmaster is in this really nice window box. It is the newly designed Studio Series packaging. You have more than meets the eye up here. You have 5 of 5 Devastator, 15-step transformation. You have 8+. You can see Mixmaster in the packaging looking all cool. You have him in his robot mode and in his vehicle mode here. You have Transformers Studio Series, Transformers the movie logo, Constructicon, Mixmaster, and Hasbro. Coming to the top of the box, you have the Transformers movie logo again, you have Constructicon Mixmaster, and you have Takara Tomy. On the left side of the box, you have a beautiful picture of Devastator looking all angry. You have 5 of 5 Transformers Studio Series, Transformers the movie. And the other side of the box, you have a carryover of Mixmaster's shoulder. You have an Autobot symbol, Transformers Studio Series, Voyager Class, and that is it. Coming to the bottom of the packaging, you do have a lot of credits for the packaging and a barcode. I will scroll in on that barcode. That might help you find this guy on the shelf. You never can tell. And then coming to the back of the packaging at the very top, you have a beautiful cell from the movie, and that is where Devastator is beating up old Sludge and about to throw him, and that is horrible because Sludge was my favorite Dinobot. Over here to the right, you have a nice Transformers the movie logo and a brief read-up of Mixmaster. I will scroll in. You could pause the video, read that to your heart's content, but we must be moving backward and outward, and we can see Mixmaster there in his robot mode and in his vehicle mode, and you got some more credits for the box down here at the bottom, and that is pretty much going to be it for the packaging. And I don't want to see Mixmaster in the box. I know you don't, so let's get him out and see what kind of mixologist he is. And before we can begin this review, there is a little bit of assembly required right out of the box. We are going to have to install Mixmaster's cement drum, and it is very easy. Basically, we'll take the figure, turn him around, take the cement drum, open it up here at the top, pulling this little purple piece up, folding in this little green piece, and then folding it back down to close it, and there you have a little tab sticking out instead of that big circular piece. And once you get this done, come to the back, find these 3 little round tabs and this rectangular tab, and line it up. Right here there are some ports, and that will just fit right nicely onto his back. And there you go. It is now on, and we can begin this awesome review. Dun, dun, dun. And here we have Mixmaster out of the packaging. And out of the packaging, he stands approximately 6 inches to the top of his head. If you want to go up to the top of this little platform here, it's going to be about 6.5 inches. He comes with a nice set of instructions that will help you transform him from a robot to a cement truck. He comes with his laser pistol, which we'll take a look at in just a moment. But first off, I want to mix it up with a closer look at Mixmaster. And coming in real close on Mixmaster's head sculpt. Now this is a very cool head sculpt. As you can see, it's basically like he's wearing a Decepticon symbol mask. So you can see the Decepticon symbol right there with the points on the top. That is beautiful. And he has a nice silver face and beautiful red eyes. I love the way this head sculpt works. If we zoom out a little bit, we see that it's kind of trapped in this box, and that is the standard design for all Mixmasters. Now, I am used to this part up here being picked out in silver or extending out like different pieces, but it works all right as molded detail, I suppose. Zooming out, we can take a look at his chest, and it is basically your same purple chest that we got with a lot of the Constructicons. You do got a lot of cool detail in there, and you got some parts picked out in red, and then the black here, little points, and then you have a beautiful Decepticon symbol making up the midsection there. I like that. And as we zoom out, we can see the entirety of his shoulders and his forearms, which are really, really long. I think they are a bit longer than they should be, but you got some nice tires on his shoulders, and then it comes down to his forearms and some nice green molded in hands. And he has the same type of hands that Bone Crusher has, in the fact that they're not really hands, they are just molded into the side of this piece, but that is okay. Coming down his waist and his thighs are all done in a nice purple. And at the bottom, he has some big green feet, and I do like that. There are some different details in the feet, but mostly, yeah, they are just green plastic, and that is good. Let's zoom back out so we can see him in his entirety. And moving him around to his side, you just got some vehicle detail with some wheels and some windows picked out here, and then you can see his cement barrel on the back, so that is interesting. And then you got the back of the truck, or the front of the truck here, and then more wheels on this side, and that is basically it. And that is what your Mixmaster is going to look like. Moving on. And for articulation, now Mixmaster has some good articulation, but it's kind of hard to get to, like his head. His head can actually go around 360 degrees, but it is kind of trapped in this box, and you can't really get a good handle on it. But once you get it started to move, you can see it actually does move, but it's really cumbersome to get to, and I don't see why you'd actually really want to try unless you're doing a crazy review like me. And as far as it can tilt, it can move forward a little bit and then back, and you do get some wiggle waggle in there. So yeah, that is good if it's worth your time and effort. Coming to the shoulders, shoulders can come up from the body very far and then back down. They can go around 360 degrees. You do have a bicep rotation right here, 360 degrees, and that comes down to a nice elbow. And that is going to be it for this arm. The hand is just molded in there, like I said before. It does not hinge or bend in any type of way. So coming to the center of the body, there is no upper rotations or lower rotations or waist rotations. This is basically just a solid piece. However, if you want to use the Devastator leg joint, you can move him kind of to the side on these ratchets, and that's nice, but it kind of breaks your sculpt and mold. So unless you just want to hide it with his hand or something, oh, I've fallen, or oh, I got shot, something like that, it's not really useful, but I'll leave that up to you. Okay. Coming down to the legs. The legs can come up 90 degrees. They can go back a little over 90 degrees because they're not really hindered by anything. And then out to the side, they can go up slightly over 90 degrees. And that is really cool. You do have 360 degrees of thigh articulation coming down to a nice knee bend. That is good. And then finally you come down to the foot. And the foot can rock to the inside. That's pretty much it. There is nothing really here that you can grab onto or do with the foot. Now the heel can actually fold down and back up if you're so inclined to do that. but it's a heel. No one cares about heels because they're on the back of the body. Alright, and that is going to be Mixmaster's articulation. Moving on. And for Mixmaster's accessory, he comes with his laser pistol. And there's not much to this. It's done in a nice black plastic. The mold is alright. You got a little bit of detail in there. Nice barrel with a little, I don't know, maybe a silencer attached to it, but I think it's just an extended barrel piece. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It isn't really as ornate as the other laser weapons that we've seen with the other Constructicons. It's basically just, you know, a gun. And I'm not going to say anything bad about it because I'm just happy that he has a weapon in this set of Constructicons. So bringing him out, you can just slide it into his fists and he can go and start to shoot up the place like Mixmaster would do, I guess. So yeah, I like it. I'm not going to discourage any type of weapon that Hasbro gives us to give to our Constructicons. That is really, really cool. Alright, and that is Mixmaster's only accessory. Moving on. And here, Bots and Books fans, is the money shot. Here we have the complete set of Studio Series Constructicons, and this is a beautiful, beautiful set. They all look awesome together. You have Long Haul, Bone Crusher, Scrapper, Hook, Scavenger, and finally Mixmaster, who completes the Constructicon team, and they are so great. It has been a very long couple of videos, but here is the payoff. All the Constructicons together, and this is a beautiful set. I hope you've enjoyed the videos because this is kind of what it's leading to. Well, not really. The next video will definitely have a bigger thing to show, but this is where we are now, and I think this is such a great group of Transformers. And for comparison, here you have Mixmaster with the Netflix Megatron, the Earthrise Starscream, the Legacy Breakdown, and the Netflix Soundwave. And these are a lot of awesome looking Decepticons. Definitely like my Limbots together, and I'd always thought that they would be approximately the same height, but Mixmaster is towering over Breakdown there, so yeah, I guess in the long run we may have a bigger Devastator than we have Menasor, but we'll take a look at that when we get there. In the meantime, this is a great looking set of Decepticons. And for comparison with some Autobots, here you have Mixmaster with the Dramatic Capture Optimus Prime, the Earthrise Grapple, the Earthrise Hoist, and Studio Series Bumblebee. And this is a great comparison, especially if you liked that Season 2 episode, The Master Builders, where Grapple and Hoist teamed up with the Constructicons, and all sorts of wackiness ensued. And I think this is a great group of Transformers. And for comparison, here you have the Studio Series Mixmaster with the Combiner Wars Mixmaster, and I think of all the Constructicons, these are the most different. They have similar features, namely the color scheme and the head sculpt, but the Studio Series Mixmaster is a lot better proportioned and streamlined. See, as you can tell, the arms pretty much are the same, but the legs are the big difference here because you have a nice flat lower leg as opposed to all the cement mixing truck parts being here. And when you turn it around to the back, the Combiner Wars Mixmaster kind of looked like it had like a wasp butt on it, so that is pretty neat, whereas the Studio Series has a nice compact cement mixer barrel up here. And I think the redesign of the Studio Series for Mixmaster was a really, really better choice, and I like the bots, but the Studio Series Mixmaster here I think is definitely the better figure. All right, and that is going to be your comparisons. Moving on. And full transformation. Now, please understand I don't necessarily go by how the instructions say, but by the end of the segment, we get to where we need to be. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is come around to the back of Mixmaster, open up his cement barrel, twist this little green section up and around, and then fold that back in, like such. Coming around to the front, I like to bend Mixmaster's forearms up and then fold them up into the cavity to the side, like such. Yeah. And with that done, go ahead and move this panel to cover Mixmaster's face. It will come up, and on this panel there are two ports here at the bottom, and they will tab into the tabs on the shoulders. So that will come up, and you'll tab that. Now, I always tell you that when you have things that come up and down, be careful when you tab them in, so don't tab them in too hard, because if you pull it up, you gotta pull it down. So it may be a little problematic. Alright, so the next thing we want to do is work on these legs. So we will need to open up this panel right here. And if you're having trouble opening it up from the side, go ahead and just use this little hinge right here, push forward, and that will pop the panel out for you. Yeah, just hear that? Yeah, that's good. And there you go. And then on both sides, and it will open. Yeah. Alright. So now what we will do is put the feet together, because there are a plethora of tabs and ports on each side. Snap it together like that. And this is going to be a very tricky part. So what I like to do is go ahead and fold the front of the cab down on these green hinges like such. Make sure that you keep them straight. The cab came undone. We'll put that back together. And then we are going to have to basically fold this section up, but you have to be very careful, and the purple section up here should turn to where it has little tabs that come up. So it's going to be tricky to orientate that properly, so be very careful, and you may have to just do one side at a time, but once you get it to go, you'll see that this little tab is starting to stick up, and you'll push it from the other side, and kind of feel for it to move around. There we go. There, and it will eventually connect and come up. So that's what that is supposed to look like. And it's kind of tricky to get it there, but you'll work around and fill around it, and it will eventually pop into place. All right, once that is done, bring these forearms up, and on the inside of the forearm there's a little port which will go into this tab right by the wheel, and that will snap into place. And then on the other side, same thing. Bring the arm up and tab it in. Alright, now come to the bottom, and what we need to do is pull these panels up right here, and they will fall back into place. You can push them on the back side here if they're giving you trouble, and then with those back there, push the heel back down, and there you have Mixmaster in his cement truck form. And it's not too bad of a transform. Let me make sure I got it all squished together correctly, and we'll be right back to take a look at it. And here we have Mixmaster in his cement truck mode, and it is a very nice cement truck mode. I like the design of it, starting at the front, you have some nice purple for the windshield. That is good. You got 3 windshield wipers. I don't know if that's standard for a cement truck, but there they are. The grill is done in a nice silver. You got a Decepticon symbol right there. Got some headlights. I like that. And a little bit of a license plate area right here. That is good for repo labels, I think. Coming to the side of the vehicle, you got some more purple windows up here. Nice door molded in there. And some side paneling, maybe a gas tank. I don't know. There's a lot of cool things here. And you do have 6 awesome black wheels, and they are plastic with a little bit of silver on the inside for the hubcaps. I like that. Nice little paneling done here right next to the cement barrel, and the mixing barrel is stationary. It doesn't move, and that's kind of a bummer. I would have liked to see this thing circle around, but it does not. And then coming to the back of the vehicle, you got some molded detail here, a little bit of brake lights and tail lights here on the sides of these panels. That is cool. And coming around to the other side, pretty much the same as you had on the foreside with just the paneling and the doors and stuff like that. So that is really neat. Coming to the bottom of the vehicle, there isn't really anything that says, hey, this is a robot. So you got a lot of cool details, and the paneling looks really nice and like it would exist underneath a cement truck or any type of vehicle. So yeah, that is cool. And for functionality, he will roll very nicely. I like that. So that is going to be it for Mixmaster in his cement truck mode and the truck's functionality. Moving on. And for comparison in vehicle mode here, ladies and gentlemen, are all of the Constructicons. It is a beautiful, beautiful set. So, bringing Mixmaster out, let's take a look at him with Bone Crusher, his fellow side of Devastator. That is really neat. And there he is with Hook. Very good. Hook is, they're pretty much the same size, height-wise and then length-wise. So, yeah, that is cool. And then here he is with Long Haul, and that is good. Long Haul, obviously, a little taller, but it's still a good thick comparison. I like that. Here he is with Scavenger. Scavenger's going to be obviously a little. He's a little arm, and Mixmaster's going to be a thick leg, so that is cool. And finally, here he is with his fellow Foot and leader Scrapper. That is really neat and cool. They are approximately the same length, but obviously Mixmaster is a little taller because of his cement barrel. But anyway, that is some really cool comparisons. I love the way this team has come together, and these are some very beautiful looking vehicle modes for the Constructicons. And that is gonna be our first comparison. And for comparison with the Decepticons, here he is with Megatron in his tank mode, and you can see Megatron's a lot bigger than poor Mixmaster here, and that's okay, he should be. He is the leader, and he's a Megatron. Here he is with Breakdown, the Stunticon. I do like that these are similar in length. Obviously, Mixmaster is going to be taller because he's a truck, but I do think that this is going to be very important later on in combined mode, that they are approximately the same length and width and stuff like that. And finally, here he is with Starscream, which is crazy to kind of compare a cement truck with a flying jet, but yeah, what are you gonna do? Here it is. So I did think it was even crazier to compare a cement truck with a tape recorder, so that's why Soundwave isn't out here. I just think that would look silly. Not that this looks any better, but anyway, that is still pretty neat. All right, and that is your comparison with some fellow Decepticons. And where there are Decepticons, the Autobots will always follow after. And this is really cool. And you have Prime here. Let's bring him out and measure him up with Mixmaster. Now, Prime, I think, is a little bigger than he should be comparatively to Mixmaster, because I think Mixmaster should come up to about here, because cement truck is about the equivalent to a semi truck, I think, but that's basically what we got, so it's not too bad, I guess. And I definitely know that he is taller than he should be when it comes to grapple here. Grapple is a little shorter, and if he was actual size to come up to about here, I think that would be proportionate and correct, but as it stands, Mixmaster is taller than Grapple, but Grapple is going to be longer, obviously, because he's, got the more stuff in the back. That is cool. Coming to comparison with Hoist, this is pretty good comparison. Again, I think Hoist is a little big comparatively, so in this case, Mixmaster should be about right here, I would think. But again, scale is in the eye of the beholder, and all over the place when you're talking about Transformers, whether it's the cartoon or the toys. And here you have him with Bumblebee, and this is a pretty good scale. I think Bumblebee, again, is a little too big to scale properly, because Mixmaster should be up about right there, I think. But anyway, that is the practical side of things. These are toys. Who wants to be practical? But anyway, that has been your comparison with the Autobots, and they look good together. And finally, full comparison, here you have the Studio Series Mixmaster with the Combiner Wars Mixmaster. And the first thing you'll notice is that they were two different styles of cement trucks. The Studio Series has reverted back to the more classic type of cement truck with the cab here and then the cement mixer barrel on the back, like it should be, like it was in the cartoon. And the Combiner Wars did a more modern take on a cement mixer, with the cab being here and the cement barrel being on top, and then you having this extra part back here. Unless I'm mistaken, and this is the front of the vehicle, because you have your smokestacks here, but I don't think so. I think the newer versions of cement trucks, this would be the front, because you have windows here picked out in purple, and then you have this like little ladder section and then door. So I don't know, unless I'm seeing this wrong, and somebody in the comments can tell me if it's supposed to be like this. I've always thought that this was the way the Combiner Wars Mixmaster cement truck was orientated, but I could be wrong. But in any event, I do like the Studio Series design a lot better than this, even if this was the front. But I don't know, this was huge and bulky, and this is more sleek and streamlined. So I think they did a really great update when they gave us this Studio Series Mixmaster. And that is going to be your comparisons. Moving on. And the last piece of transformation that we need to take care of is getting Mixmaster into his combined mode. And this is going to be very, very simple. He is a foot, so pretty much all we have to do is break the front of Mixmaster's truck apart. This will come up and out, and then basically this will move around to the top of the truck and peg into place up here, making that very, very nice. And then what we will do is come around here, and we will open up the feet like such, and bring these little panels down so that you are creating two ports here and creating the heel for Devastator here. All right, and finally we'll need to pop out the forearms like such, so we can have it looking like this. Okay, so it's very simple and it looks cool, and yeah, that's all you really need to do to get Mixmaster into his combine mode. All right, and we will see how this all fits together next time. All right, moving on. And this has been the Transformers Studio Series Constructicon Mixmaster, the last Voyager Transformer that we will need to form the mighty Devastator. Dot, dot, dot. And as for Mixmaster, he was a very fine Transformer, very simple in design. But again, Mixmaster has always been kind of a simple design. You fold up the legs, push the arms in, and there you go. And it's a little more complicated with the Studio Series here, but I still think it was a fun, easy transform to master. The only annoying part was that trying to get those knees bent into the right position, but after a little practice, you'll be able to get it, no problem. Mixmaster's design is a lot better than the Combiner Wars Mixmaster when they went for the more modern cement truck. I think you just stick to basics and it would be perfect. And this is a very good looking Mixmaster. I don't have any issue with how he looks. I think his colors are very nice. You got the purples and the greens. You got a little bit of red and black on his chest. The Decepticon symbols are there. Nice silver face, nice red eyes. Not much more you can ask for him. In vehicle mode, you got a lot of windows picked out in the purple and the beautiful silver grille. I like that a lot. So the colors are really good. I'm very happy that this Mixmaster came with a weapon. It's just a standard pistol. There's not really any special design about it. It's a straightforward gun. But again, I am not going to complain because he has one, so it's better than nothing, and I like it. And that's pretty much going to be the Studio Series Mixmaster, the last component of our Devastator. And if you are looking for him, he's on the shelf right now, and he will go anywhere between $30 to $35, depending on where you pick him up. So if you're looking, happy hunting. And that's going to wrap up Part 6 of our 7-part series. I hope you enjoyed the review on the Transformers Studio Series Constructicon Mixmaster. And now the only thing left for us to do is to combine all of these awesome Constructicons to form Devastator. And I think that's going to take some time, and I didn't want to cram it into this video, so come back next time and we will
Prepare for extermination.
dun, dun, dun. Until then, guys, have a great night and keep playing.
Constructicons unite!